Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing all right. I am doing all good. Feels like it's been a while. It's a lovely early October evening. Gentle breeze, nice and mild, beautiful. So yeah, really the major thing of note is that I've made a decision on the centre bed there, which is to not make a decision on it for another couple of years. I just can't get it right in my mind's eye. So yeah, I had a banana pup lying around, so we'll shove that in there. That in a couple of years, that'll do the job of in the summer, covering those windows above the fence there from this perspective. And yeah, I'll work out what I'm going to do with it when I know what I'm going to do with the climbing frame and whether that's going to turn into a trampoline or not. So I may be able to extend the beds out or whatnot. But really, otherwise, just in that one there, the Norfolk Island pine, I've just repotted that. It's been in the same pot for a couple of years. You see the top growth is loving it now because it's all sort of facing upwards. These ones, though, they look best from the top. But yeah, no one ever gets to see that. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a free for all in that centre bed. I'm just going to see what happens with it, basically see what got left over after planting and potting. So really, yeah, the major thing that happened since the last one is this passion flower, which is the blue one, has just suddenly died. I did mention that I was going to chop it up at the pergola height. Just to rejuvenate it a bit because it had gone all up over the top of the garage, and it's only in a tiny pot, seeing as I've sort of taken out most of that. But yeah, just 3 days later, all the leaves had fallen off it, and for all I can tell, it's dead. So I'll still chop it and just leave it in there and see what happens next year. But I've put some ivy in the bottom of that. I just had some in a pot of the bamboo. So yeah, that's in there now. This passion flower is doing really well. Any green stuff you can see is from this passion flower over this side, which is the Snow Queen one. Still going really well. It's not quite as the blue passion flower kind of really went for it. Like I said, it sent shooters all the way up to the top of the garage roof, whereas this one is kind of kept within itself for the most part. And it's still flowering. So that's from the end of May to what are we now? Sort of getting on to the middle of October. You can see there's a flower hanging down there. There's one down there. There's a few to our right and one on that one. So yeah, bumblebees are loving it. Flowers really long. Yeah, worth getting. So that's passion flower, Snow Queen. They're a little bit straggly though, the passion flowers. This one's not too bad, but yeah, the foliage isn't really dense enough. If it was against a fence, I'm not sure it would look great. But I suppose you just trim them and keep them. Trim them mean, keep them keen, or whatever. Yeah, so in Comedia Corner, it's all doing very well, really. The only things I've done down here is, you may remember a couple of years ago, I had a Nephrolepis cordifolia, which is this one to the front right. It looks like a Boston fern and is a relative of it, I guess, with it being called Nephrolepis. There's a ladder type fern. They're not hardy. I had one in there a couple of years ago. It died due to what I can only assume is the frost or the cold winds, because it was a bit exposed. I've put that one in there now. That one's just been lying around in a hanging basket. And because I've got the honeysuckle at the back there, which is young, and the two Dixonias and the tetrapanics, I'll effectively attach a big thing of fleece up to the top of the fence there, and then just drape it over all of that and hang it down with some bricks. So hopefully that might do it. But these things look good when they actually get going. And then just down in there, just as a bit of a filler, had it hanging around. There's a, whatever you call them, blue kangaroo fern or whatever they're called. Strictly a house plant, I think they're sold as, but we'll see how he does outside. I mean, it was outside last year, so yeah, seems to be okay. And yeah, that's about it for that bit, really. So moving on over here, next to the seat there, I brought out the Dixonia fibrosa. It's very young. I've had it a year. It's been out in the front garden. So it was outside last year and seemed to do all right. Didn't get frosted off right next to the house. So going to try my luck for a bit further out. And then at some point we will find a spot for that. So, but we'll just leave that one to keep going. This bed's looking really good. I took the Lophosauria out and I had a plant Dixonia similar to the fibrosa a little bit further on, though, as you can see, just lying around as you do. So I thought, because there's no ferns in there, and we've got that one, that Dixonia over in there, which is pretty much the same aspect, is doing really well, i.e. with the sun. I might pop that one in the ground there, and if I need to fleece it, I'll fleece it or whatnot. But yeah, I think that could look really good. And then with the honeysuckle, it's really starting to get a lovely form to it now. I love the kind of this main bit that's coming across the pergola, and then you get these sort of offshoots of 10 or 12 leaves that just sort of hang down. Looks really good. So there's a load going over into the fence, into the neighbour's fence. I want to take some cuttings off this. As you can see down there, I'm getting ready for mulching and doing other such joyous things. So I've got some cutting compost, just because I wouldn't normally get it, but I just saw it there, so we'll see how it does. There's a load going off the other direction, which I will get a ladder and chop off in the morning and see if there's any cuttings I can take. And then there's a few other odds and sods that I'm going to take cuttings of. And then really the only thing is just thinking about winter is that heating, which I don't know if it works or not. I can't prove that it works, but conveniently enough, the last 2 years, the stem has died up to the point that it leaves the heating pipe. So the bit I want to keep on this year is the bit coming over here, because the idea is that I'm going to trade the main sort of branch across the front of the pergola, and then all the little offshoots can go up over the pergola, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'll just it'll take me, I would imagine, less than 10 minutes, but I'll just chop an elbow into that pipe going up, run it across there underneath the stem, and then go back over the top and meet up with the other one at the back there, or go anywhere else I might need to. See if I've got enough pipe, I could run it over and drop it down over next to that honeysuckle. But I think that one might be all right, he says, cursing it. So yeah, that's all that's going on in there. The Clematis almandia just started growing. There's a whole new bit coming towards us, and it's even made its way in amongst the honeysuckle. There he is, right there. So yeah, we'll let them battle it out for the most part. But what I'm going to do is run a couple of wires from the fence on the left to the fence on the right. Sort of in line with the bench, if you like, run 2 or 3 wires there and see if the clematis will go up over that just for now, just because why not, basically. So yeah, the up the back there, the kid toddler has suddenly realized that he can climb up over these stone benches. So I had to sort of safety it a little bit, just because he's all right, because you keep your eye on him, but it only takes 10 seconds, doesn't it, just for him to go. So the rocks that were there, and this is the reason all the pots have been moved, is because the pots that were in the rockery, I've obviously had to take them out because of the kid. And also, it wasn't so much that it was unstable, it was more I didn't want his foot going down between rocks, if you know what I mean. So I had to get something there, kind of like that matting stuff, and then I'll just check the rest of me mulch on it for now. So yeah, that's kind of half safe, if you see what I mean. It doesn't look great, but you got to do what you got to do. Over here, just out of interest, a dahlia has decided to flower. Quite a nice one, very nice corally orange, I would call that. So moving on round to the east facing bed. This looks great because I've rammed all the pots in there to act as a bit of a barrier. When you look at it from this angle, it's kind of like nicely edged in, if you see what I mean. So that's quite good. Gives me hope more than anything else. But they say it's the hope that kills. So yeah, well, Emmy's doing well. Gonna get another one of them. I keep trying to persuade myself to put that Norfolk Island pine in the ground where the Brachiosaurus is, so it kind of marries up with the Wollemi there. And then the other half of me is saying, go and get another Wollemi. They're quite expensive, probably up there with Dixonia antarcticas per foot. Probably even more, actually, but it's a good doer, and a pair of them would look absolutely fantastic. So, but we can sit on that for a bit. We don't need to worry too much about that just now. the Scheffler that's in here really isn't liking it. This will be the third one in this area. Two of them have already died. That one looks like he's not enjoying it. So I may pot that up. And then that Tetrapanax pup, which is off of the one we saw at the beginning in Camellia Corner, that Tetrapanax was actually here originally, did really well. I just took it out because it was deciduous. But because I've got the climber behind it now, which will hopefully thicken out this year, I'm not too worried about it being deciduous. And yeah, I think I'll chuck it in there just because I know it does well and it'll add something to there. And then just in front of the canner, that empty space there, that is reserved for a 1 foot Dixonia to marry up with the one in the corner and the one over there the other side of the slide. And then I'll probably get one in the centre bed somewhere as well, just to, you know, tie it all up nicely. Yeah, Lophosauria lost a few fronds this year where it got too much sun, but I'll leave them on it because they'll act as a little bit of protection, because it's not like hardy, if you see what I mean. I think it does well, but you know, it only takes that one time, doesn't it? So yeah, canna's doing good. I'll divide that in the spring, but I'll just mulch over it this year. Still flowering, as you can see there, nice sort of pink flowers coming through here. The Pilostagia verbenoides looking good, Scheffler looking good, Cyathea looking good. And then over here, I've taken out the Fatsia, which was dead and dying, where the canopy was up at trellis height. I don't know why it died. It was just one of those things. So that Fatsia there is not in the ground. It's just in a pot there, just because I had it. And then the Lophosauria that was in the full sunbed next to the honeysuckle, that's there. It looks a bit off, but it's already throwing out a couple of fronds already. So yeah, it's probably just one of the crowns died. It's probably 3 or 4 crowns that. So yeah, we'll leave that. I haven't got one in full shade or tried one in full shade, so I'll be interested to see how that does. 1 foot Dixonia there, as I just said. Yeah, in here I do need something that's going to kind of cover this trellis height. Got a few options. Thinking it's full shade. I'm thinking either that Fatsia or the Fatsia spider's web that we'll see in a minute, and then put this Fatsia where that Fatsia is. We'll go and have a look at that in a minute though. I've got another Scheffler, which, you know, that Scheffler is doing quite well there, so it should do quite well there. I was thinking maybe a Camellia or a Mahonia for the winter flowers for the wildlife, or an Akuba, or lots of things really. So, but just for this year, I just wanted the light to get into that Pilostagia because it's been under a Fatsia for the last 2 or 3 years. So yeah, you know, just want to give it some light, so in no rush to worry about what's going on there. Around here, the only thing to note of at the moment is I moved the Hydrangea Samanii, which really isn't doing well, especially when you compare it to the other one. I know why it was. It was over in the left, just behind that Fatsia leaf, effectively, to the, you know, against the fence where that knot in the fence is. I came out after it had rained pretty heavily, and all this was soaking all the way up, and then just apart from literally where around the hydrangea was, and that's obviously because of the Fatsia. So that Atrata that was in there had got stood on. So I've taken it out because it needs to recover, and I'll just move that hydrangea across, you know, and we'll see how it does. And you can see I'm having my first attempt at layering something there, so yeah, we'll see how that does, because it'd be a nice one to propagate that. Here's the Fatsia doing what I want it to do, which is kind of come up over here so that the kids got kind of climb in and out of it. Be interesting to see what happens with that next year, as in what leaves below die off and how high the canopy gets raised. But it's coming into flower now, so yeah, that will add a little bit of interest for the next couple of months. Also, I've been tying the fig tree down. As you can see, I've tied it to the climbing frame under that little bird bath thing I've made. Yeah, no reason, just other than I've, you know, got an inquisitive mind, I suppose. Just see what happens with it. I'll probably tie that one on the left down to the fence as well, and the one at the back, as we're looking at it, I'll tie it down to the fence as well, and we'll just sort of see what happens with it. So yeah, that's what that Hydrangea Samanii should look like. Looks lovely. It's going to fill it out really nice. So yeah, happy days. Cyathea. As soon as that rain came for 3 days, that thunder, the really heavy thunder rains, it's sent out a new frond. So yeah, that's good. It means it's alive. I knew it was alive because these fronds were okay, but yeah, didn't really chuck anything out this year. That was because I underwatered it. Can guarantee. And then yeah, otherwise I just put a terrace and broser in there. There was a western sword fern in there, but that'll be the third one I've tried that has failed. But the reason for this one is because the football landed on it, so never sent any fronds out this year. So that one's in recovery. But I'll put that terrace and broser in there because I got one the other side, but you can't see it because it's under the Dixonia. So yeah, it's too good not to look at. They got a really nice kind of grassy, bamboo-y, feathery, soft kind of feel to them, and they go glossy green, dark green. So that should look pretty good in the end. And then yeah, there's that Fatsia spider's web I'm on about moving. And then what that would be nice is because that's a full shade corner, and this has obviously got the white pigmentation in it, or variegation, or whatever you call it, that would stand out down there. And then also with that Fatsia, you know, that's 2 years, well, it's been in the ground 2 years, but 3 years old. In a couple of years the canopy is going to be up that high, and I'm wondering if I put a Fatsia in there and had the same there, that's going to be excellent protection for the Cyathias, and I could probably get another one in there if needed. Really the only other things are I've taken the 2 Jurassic Golds out the tiki heads, potted up that Scheffler I've got. We'll decide what's doing with that. And then the Traculospermum, I don't know, I think it's just struggling a little bit. It's probably because you can see at the bottom there's a breeze block wall, and it's literally about 2 inches away from the stem of it. So I think until I move that wall, I can't, you know, I can only do so much, but I can't do that because I still need the gate. So for now, I've just taken all the other plants out of it. There were a couple of ferns in there, 3 ferns in there. So I've just taken them out, moved them, and then I'm just going to give that a real heavy mulch, probably 4 inches of mulch this year. And yeah, that's about it really. That's how everything's ticking over. So my next missions are to do some wiring and to do some mulching. I've also got the wildflower seeds ready to do a sort of carpet bombing of them. Another thing I'm going to do, because I had to shut these steps off for the kid for most of the year, everyone was running up and down that bit. As you can see, it's damaged the grass. Now this little bit here, which I call my landslide, is overgrown, and what I'm going to do is take the grass out of that back a bit so it makes it more obvious that it's a landslide, move the grass that I take out from that into that bit, and then in there I'm going to seed it with wildflowers, so it's just like a crack of wildflowers coming out of the grass. That could look quite good, or not. We'll soon find out. Well, we won't soon find out, we'll find out in 9 months time. But yeah, otherwise it's just plodding along really. So hope you're having a good one, and thanks for watching if you made it this far, and I will see you again on the next one, which is actually going to be a diary hopefully. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's just have one last look at the old passion flowers, because it might be the last time we see them this year. So yeah, this thing, passion flower snow queen, been flowering since end of May, and it's middle of October now, and it's still going strong. So good stuff. Anyway, see you later. Thanks for watching.